AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal.
Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Brought to you today by Rocket Mobile. Don't forget, if you want to get a better deal on your mobile phone, make sure you check out the description below. 20 gigabytes of data, free unlimited calls, unlimited text as well for £16 a month. If it's a better deal than what you've got right now, check it out in the description below or scan the QR code. And it is transfer deadline day, and it could be an interesting one. Just before we get into that, got a big up our Arsenal ladies, our Arsenal women. Fantastic yesterday. They won the Women's Champions Cup, making them officially the best team in the world. Well done to them. Of course, they won the Champions League last year and winning the Women's Champions Cup at the Emirates. Fantastic achievement for them. Also, thank you, Spurs. I don't say that much, but Spurs taking a point off of Manchester City yesterday. City dropping more points. Villa losing as well, surprisingly, at home to Brentford with only 10 men. Meant that it was a fantastic weekend for Arsenal. Great weekend. Couldn't really have got much better. Arsenal now 6 points clear at the top of the title race over Manchester City. 7 points clear of Aston Villa. After last week's, misery, what a great weekend it's been for Arsenal. Fantastic. And, we've got to keep these fingers crossed. We've got to stay humble. But it's looking good at the moment. But how do we see it home? Do we need to get busy on transfer deadline day? This is the last day to do any business, and then that is it until the summer. That is it for the season. So do Arsenal need to do any business? Now, I was thinking to myself, this could be a quiet deadline day for Arsenal. A lot of the targets that Arsenal have been looking at throughout this January transfer window have all been about the summer. Let's face it. It's been looking highly unlikely that we bring in anybody for January. However, circumstances can change, and they have changed. Big news yesterday that Merino is out. It's kind of come out of the blue. There were these rumors that he'd suffered a little injury. Well, it turns out that injury is a big injury to a bone in his foot. He's going to have surgery. That was confirmed by the club yesterday. And they spoke about him being back in training, hopefully before the end of the season. That means he's going to miss probably the rest of this season, which is a big blow for Arsenal. Let's not underplay this. Merino last season was such an important player for us in the second half of the season, scored big goals in the league and the Champions League. He basically kept us afloat when, Jesus was out, Havertz was out, Saka was out. It was Merino who stepped into the void and did an absolute brilliant job for us from this sort of time, January, right until the end of the season. Merino is going to be out. Sad news for him. I hope he makes a speedy recovery. Of course, it's a World Cup year as well, and he's been doing brilliantly for Spain as well. So it's a blow for him all round. Hopefully he gets back before the end of the season and can get into that Spanish squad ahead of the World Cup. But it does look like he is going to be out for Arsenal for the rest of the season. David Ornstein suggesting that Arsenal are going to possibly go into the market today to try and get a signing in as cover for Merino, preferably a loan signing, because, they don't really want to spend big on deadline day, although they may have to, but preferably a loan signing. Who will that loan signing be? I saw suggestions saying that Arsenal could recall Ethan Nwaneri, of course. That's the answer to the problem. Attacking midfield player, but he's got out on loan to Marseille. Now, I don't know the details of that loan move. I don't know if it would be possible at all to recall Ethan Nwaneri off of his loan to Marseille. I very, very much doubt it. I think it'd be unlikely after the fact that he's only just gone there and he scored on his debut, that he would be getting a recall. He'd be perfect to bring back right now. But it's probably unlikely that Ethan Wanieri comes back. I wish he could. So who could Arsenal go out there and possibly bring in on loan on deadline day? That is the problem. There's been suggestions of Ruben Neves of Al Hilal over there in Saudi Arabia. Of course, he used to play for Wolves, was a top player for Wolves, and surprisingly went over to Saudi Arabia. He's still only 28 even now. He's had a good time of it over there. He's won the title with Al Hilal. But could he make a move back? There's been suggestions all month linking him with clubs in Europe. Atletico Madrid have been one of the favourites to sign him. But could he be a loan signing? I very much doubt Al Hilal will want to let him go. And would that be possible at this late hour? But that's been one that's been suggested. Another one that's been suggested is Ruben Loftus Cheek of AC Milan. Now, he's done well at AC Milan, Ruben Loftus Cheek, but has really not featured a lot for Milan this season. And representatives of Ruben Loftus Cheek were offering his services to both Aston Villa and Manchester United earlier on in the transfer window. He could be a player that AC Milan might allow to leave on loan. Could he offer that cover for Arsenal from now until the end of the season? Listen, it might be a good move for him if it was possible. He did get an England call-up last October when England played Wales. So he might eye it and say, well, listen, come back, play for a team that's, got title ambitions, get myself into that England squad possibly. He would be willing to, be on the bench and be able to come on and make an impact. And he's a very, very good player. I mean, been injury hit over the years. We all remember his time at Chelsea. But could he be on Arsenal's list of a possible loan signing on deadline day, Ruben Loftus Cheek? Or could Arsenal move back for some of the big targets that they've been looking at this transfer window that they probably said, well, let's wait until the summer? One of them is Keith Smit of AZ Alkmaar. Now, Alkmaar, again, won't want to sell him this transfer window, valued at around about £25 million. But if that was to be accelerated, that move by Arsenal, no doubt that price would need to be much bigger to get him away from AZ Alkmaar this January transfer window. There's also Ayab Bouadi, who we've spoken about several times on the show, has been heavily linked with Arsenal. Arsenal are said to have him as a top target for the summer, but could that be a move that's accelerated to try and come in to make that cover for Mikel Merino, a top player? However, they're still only 18 years of age. So could Arsenal accelerate that move? Again, we're going to have to wait and see this transfer deadline day. A couple of young players to tell you about that Arsenal have been linked to. This latest one, Evan Mooney of St Mirren up there in Scotland. Arsenal have reportedly held talks with his representatives and the club St Mirren over signing him. Whether that will be today or not, that's to be seen, but they've been very interested in Evan Mooney. And we know that they've held a long-time interest in Igor Tijon of Blackburn, the striker. There's a lot of reports that they had a fresh £1 million bid turned down for Igor Tijon. Could that be a deal that's done today? Atalanta over there in Italy also showing a lot of interest in Tijon. But we have to wait and see what happens with that one today as well. But the big news is Merino is out. So will Arsenal try and make a deadline day move to try and get someone in to cover off that injury? Keep it locked here to AFTV today. Any news breaks at all around any transfers, we will bring it to you first here on AFTV. So keep it locked here. Thanks for watching today. And also I want to thank you for watching every day of this month. I always appreciate the support that you guys show to this show, especially everybody who leaves a comment. I love the community. Love all the comments that you guys have been moving. Let me know today, who should Arsenal go out and sign? Or do we need anybody? Do we need anybody today to cover off Mikel Merino? Because we still have Eze. You got Odegaard, right? You could push Mars Lewis Skelly into midfield if need be. Christian Norgard could get more game time. You could play him more defensively and maybe push Zubimendi further forward. Do Arsenal need to really go and get cover? Jesus is back. Havertz is back. He can play in midfield. Do you think we'll be all right? Or do you think that, listen, we're in such a good position in the title, in the Champions League, just go and get cover. Leave nothing to chance. Would love to hear from you guys in the comments. Thanks for watching, as I said. And don't forget, I won't see you tomorrow, but anything breaks today, we'll be right on it here on AFTV. Thanks for watching. Travelling to away games has never been easier, especially with Rocket Mobile.
Unlimited data, unlimited everything in the UK. When you leave the UK, it's 20 gig of roaming data. Life is very easy.
£16 a month, no hassle.
How you doing?
You're doing all right? And this is what you get in Europe.
I know. Tony Adams!
One night.
You're the man.